Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are all having a good evening. It's been a while. It feels like I haven't spoken to you guys for ages. It's actually been a week since we last streamed. The season ended, and the last game of the season wasn't exactly something spectacular. That being said, we are now heading into the transfer window and the preseason, and then we're gonna start our first season under Todd Boehly, under the ownership of Todd Boehly. We are saying goodbye to Roman Abramovich on tonight's stream. This is my farewell to Roman Abramovich. And also we're going to be discussing some Chelsea news in respect to the future of the club, the future of the squad, the future of the team. That's what we're going to be discussing today. I want to thank everyone who has messaged me over the past week. I've been okay. I've been fine. Everything's good. Everything's fine. It's just I needed a break. I needed to stay away from YouTube for a little while, which I did. We're not back to normal scheduling, lads. We're not back to normal programming. We're still gonna be fluctuating in respect to programming for the next week or so, I would say. I have a fantastic schedule coming up for you guys in 2 weeks. The content on my channel is going to be what's the word here? Better scheduled. So you'll know exactly what kind of content you're going to be getting on the different days. I'm going to have a day specific for transfer news, and I'm going to announce this today. Andreas Kosnord will be with us every Friday night moving forward. Andreas will be here every Friday night moving forward to discuss all the transfer news. So we're going to start that on the 10th of June. We're going to have a transfer show specific to discuss transfer news with Andreas. That is going to be every Friday night. We're also going to have a debate show. We're also going to have a debate show every Sunday night, where we, as a panel, will sit down. Boogeyman, just audio, please. Every Sunday night, we're going to have a debate show where we will be discussing and debating all the latest news, rumors, and stories. And there's other things that I'll be telling you about in the very near future. So that's what you're going to be expecting to see on the Blue Lounge within the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I had to take a little break to just reorganize a few things, and hopefully you're going to get some fantastic content on this channel. So big up to everyone. As customary on this channel, we'll have to start by saying hello to the people in the chat. Chris got in early with his comment. He says, like, share, subscribe. Thank you, Roman Abramovich, for absolutely everything. The best memories in football have been delivered because of you. Best owner of all time. Won't be on tonight. I'm out. Chris, enjoy your night out. Have fun, and we'll see you in the next stream. Jeff, big up Mo, big up the Blue Lounge, big up Jeff, and as always, get your likes in early. Big up to you, Jeff. Thank you for that comment. Guys, if you want to support the channel, it's easy, simple. Click that like button now. Click it now, and that's all you have to do, because once you click it, you've told the YouTube algorithm, you know what? The Blue Lounge, I like it. It's going to recommend it. So big up to everyone who's already hit the like button. What's Pete saying? Pete saying, evening, well done on sorting the future out. You're welcome. No, I know what you mean. Things are going to be sorted out. Things are going to be sorted out. And it's gonna take a bit of work. But things are going to be sorted out. Big up my man Mo. Big up my man Eric Dugan. Good to have you in the chat. Ryan Davis, I've just liked the stream. I've just liked the stream, everyone. All right, listen, everyone, follow in the steps of Ryan Davis and like the stream. Big up to you, Ryan. Thank you for that. Who else is in here? Elias, big up to you, my man. I hope you're having a good evening. Wassam, Football Styles, big up to you. Welcome back to the stream. Faldiaso, hello, big up, ladies and gents. Welcome to the Todd era. Yeah, it is. It's a new era. Sorry for the last stream. I don't remember you swearing, my brother. I don't remember that. I don't know. Sam Ballard, big up to you. Welcome. Javi, big up my brother from another mother. Big up to you, Javi. Welcome, welcome. Bobby, Fairview, blessings on the channel. Blessings on Bobby and all of your family and friends and everyone watching this show. Gabrielle, hi lads, big up to the Blue Lounge. Big up to you, Gabrielle. Who else? Am I missing anyone? Abi Odun Adira. Welcome. Big up to you. ITM, hello. We're back. ITM, big up to you. And last but not least, John Arnold, Sam Ballard. Are you Bristol Sam? I guess it's a conversation that they're having. Big up to you, John Arnold. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. All right. Before we get into discussing Roman Abramovich and his farewell statement, let me say hello to my my panelists. We'll start with Podfather. Pod, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, Mo. Good to be with you. I'm looking forward
Good to have you back. Good to have you back. Eric Blue, welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Good to be back. It was a good break, but it's time for the new era.
It is. Welcome, Eric. Boogeyman, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm good. Looking at Eric's relax. It's been a long time. Welcome back, guys. I'm just looking fun up. That's good, man. Okay.
After that final, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Are you okay now? Good.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you for reminding me. Congratulations to Eden Hazard for picking up his Champions League medal. Congratulations to Don Ancelotti. I think he's got now 6 Champions League medals.
4.
If I'm not mistaken.
4.
No, 6. 6.
As a
2
player,
as a player. And 4 as an honor. Yeah, so he's got 6. 2 as a player and 4 as an honor. Congratulations and fantastic to see that. Should we congratulate the other former Chelsea man?
No.
I think we should congratulate ourselves as well, and the much maligned Marina Granascora for securing us an extra 25 million. You know, based on
listen. We give Marina a lot of stick, but she does do some smart business occasionally. So there's is it for the Champions League and the league?
Yes, but
too, right?
Yes, Champions League and the league, yes.
Yeah. So Marina masterclass, as Ilya says. You gotta give credit where it's due. So Marina Gavaskaya, she may stay around for a little bit as well. Apparently, Todd Boehly is keen to extend. Apparently,
a Marina contract.
Yeah, she'll be given a similar role, but I think she'll be given some help when it comes to the footballing side of the business. Brima is asking, he says, when our new owner will be official, because we want to start. I think tomorrow we might see an announcement, an official announcement, because everything is done. I mean, I think even financially, it has been secured. The handover has happened. The keys have been given. The man has the keys to the car, but I think he's just waiting for the paperwork to come back from the DVLA. So that's all it is. Todd Boehly is the owner of Chelsea Football Club right now.
And from what we hear, business is already being done anyway. So
Business already been done. Business already been done. Yeah. Luke Mudway, big up to you. What's Luke Mudway saying? Marina is good at making deals. She just needs someone to scout the properly. That's all. Yeah. She business wise, Marina's all right. Listen, let me read the statement. Let me read the statement that Roman Abramovich made. This is the last statement that Roman Abramovich would have made as the owner of Chelsea Football Club. So let's read it. And then we'll discuss moving forwards. And guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. Actually, before I bring up the statement, I want to check how many likes do we have. 30 likes. There's like 40 of you in the stream. 50 of you in the stream. 40 likes. Chelsea by Neymar. We'll come to that. Guys, remind me to discuss Neymar as we discuss Dembélé. We'll come to that. All right, let's look at this statement. And guys, hit the like button. Hit that like button and let's get the likes up to 50. All right, so let me share the screen. Okay, so can you guys see it? Is it? All right, it's on there. All right. Statement from Roman Abramovich posted the 28th of May 2022. That would be yesterday. It reads, it has been nearly 3 months since I announced my intention to sell Chelsea Football Club. During this time, the team have worked hard to find the right custodian for Chelsea Football Club that would be best positioned to successfully lead the club into the next chapter. The ownership of this club comes with great responsibility. Since I came to Chelsea nearly 20 years ago, I have witnessed firsthand what this club can achieve. My goal has been to ensure that the next owner has a mindset that will enable success for the men and women's teams, as well as the will and drive to continue developing other key aspects of the club, such as the academy and the vital work of the Chelsea Foundation. He has emphasized on these points in pretty much every single one of his statements that he's made in recent weeks. I'm pleased this search has now come to a successful conclusion. As I hand over Chelsea to its new custodians, I would like to wish them the best of success both on and off the pitch. It has been an honour of a lifetime to be part of this club. I would like to thank all the club's past and current players, staff, and of course, fans for these incredible years. As a fan, I want to thank you, Roman, for these incredible years under your ownership, stewardship. He continues, I'm proud that as a result of our joint successes, millions of people will now benefit from the new charitable foundation which is being established. This is the legacy which we have created together. Thank you, Roman. Powerful statement. And one that hits close to home for me personally. And I'm sure for all of you guys on a personal level. I started supporting Chelsea before Roman Abramovich, under Ken Bates. But the impact that he has brought to Chelsea Football Club, the success, the determination to succeed, he has created a club that knows nothing but success. Our DNA, our mindset, our mentality is all about winning. It's all about succeeding. That's Roman Abramovich. So, I want to thank him for doing that. I want to thank him for all that he has done. There's a lot of people discussing other things that are not related to football that he is involved in. That's not my business. That's not our business. We as Chelsea fans are talking about what he has done for Chelsea Football Club. That's my business. So thank you for doing that. There's a super chat here from Gabriel. What's Gabriel saying? Marina being over 30 is off. Oh, Gabriel. Oh, mate. I like it. Yeah. We'll give her a 1-year contract, and we might extend it if she does well.
She's a champion. She's a Champions League winner as well.
She's a Champions League winner. Yeah. So, and World Club Cup winner. I saw her, on that pitch. She did her bit on the pitch as well. So, big up to you, Gabriel. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. We will discuss both. Henrik, just give us a second. We'll come to the transfer market and transfer window in a minute. Guys, what's your thoughts on that statement specifically, and the departure of Roman Abramovich under these circumstances? I want to hear your thoughts, lads.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot be more appreciative of Roman. I think he's the best owner I know of. He's very rare in the way he did things. He genuinely loved the sport. I've heard some people saying some things about why he decided to be the Chelsea owner, why he decided to buy the club. But for me, I think it's very obvious, and it's been obvious from day one. He just he's a football fan. For one reason or the other, he decided Chelsea was going to be the club that he would buy. And ever since, he's been Chelsea. He is the face of the club. He's the reason why Chelsea, yes, we've always been hated, but he's the reason why you have to respect us. Whether you hate us or love us, you have to take notice. When Chelsea is mentioned, we're a force in football. We're a superpower. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world, by a considerable. There's no club in the world that would not recognize Chelsea. Even even clubs like Madrid, they respect us, and that's because of Roman. He has taken us to that level. He's put us on a pedestal, and
Eric,
so for me,
I'm going to ask you, just one quick question. You said he's a football fan. Do you think he was a football fan, or he became a football fan, and specifically a Chelsea super fan after he bought the club? Because I agree with you. He's a massive fan, but I think that the magic of Chelsea played a massive role in him becoming, so, what's the word here? So connected and so involved, invested in the club, because Roman Abramovich, as time went on, he became more and more invested in the club, emotionally as well as financially. And I think, what you said I agree with, but I think it kind of happened on the job, if you know what I mean, rather than it was there from the beginning. Would you agree?
I mean, yeah, I think there was an interest for sure in the sports. I think, at the very lowest level, he was interested in the sports. But for sure, after he bought the club, he became a Chelsea, Chelsea through and through, Chelsea fan, 100%. The emotional factor is huge, Sometimes it's not necessarily the best football decision, but he knows the fans are upset. He knows they don't like the situation. So he makes a decision. That happened, multiple times. So I completely agree. If he was a fan before, he became a, diehard super fan, especially of Chelsea. I mean, once he bought the club, he became a Chelsea fan. That's a fact. But in terms of the passion and the emotion and the desire for us to succeed, as a football fan, that was definitely increased after after he bought the club for sure. So for me, his legacy is, set in stone. Nothing will change that. I believe he deserves a statue, some kind of thing. Like, if he ever gets a chance to come back to the stadium, imagine how the stadium would be. The fans would erupt. Nobody will forget what this man has done for this club. Like he will, what he's done will be passed down the generations of Chelsea supporters. They'll be told what how important he is for. He should have a stand named after him. He should have something named after him, something that's really important. He should have some kind of thing to remind, just for the if there's any possible chance that people forget about him or forget what he's done for us, there should be something somewhere within the stadium, in the club, that would always tell us, look, this guy is where this all started. I'm not saying we didn't have history before him, but
the fact that we have two Champions League trophies, the fact that we have a Super Cup trophy, a Super Cup trophy, the fact that we have a World Club Cup trophy in there, five Premier League titles, five FA Cup titles, how many League Cups? I think two.
6, 4, 2,
I think it's two.
2014, 20, this was
Two
on
Europa,
8, 9.
Two Europa League. We got a stacked
Yeah, we've got a lot of,
trophy
yeah.
cabinet, and that stacked trophy cabinet, that's Roman Abramovich's cabinet.
Most
Right, so we,
most trophies since he arrived when he left.
Yes,
I think Man
21.
City only just overtook us, but that was after the club was taken from him. So
Yeah,
up
that
until
was
when he had control of the club, most successful club in England in terms of
most
trophies.
successful, most trophies won. Most trophies. People talk, maybe they don't
I think
read
it's
the stats.
2024.
21,
I
I
think.
think it's 21 in 19 years or 20 years, something like that. But, I mean, his arrival coincided with, say whatever he wants about, he increased this, he increased that, wages and the transfer fees are so high because of him.
Roman Abramovich. People are gonna say about he bought success.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Which club currently in top flight isn't buying players? Isn't giving their own players millions and millions and millions just to keep them at the club? And listen, if Roman Abramovich is doing anything, Roman Abramovich, he set the standard. He brought Chelsea onto the world stage to be one of the best clubs on the planet. And I think the fact that his last trophy was the World Club Cup, that says a hell of a lot about what this man has achieved and what this man has done. And I was watching yesterday Eunice Talks Football, and his farewell video, farewell message to Roman Abramovich, and he highlighted the image of Roman Abramovich holding the Club World Cup in one hand and waving in the other hand, and he said it seemed like the man knew he was going, and he was waving goodbye and saying, "Look, we're the world champions now. My job here is done." And I think it's going to be very, very difficult for us. And we're going to talk about Todd Boehly in a second, but I think it's going to be very difficult for anyone to come and try to fill this man's shoes. Let me go to Boogeyman, because I know Boogeyman is very, what's the word here, emotionally attached to Roman Abramovich's legacy. So I mean, we all are, but I want to hear what Boogeyman has to say about this.
Yeah, thanks. It's simple. Let's not forget that the man has been robbed 4 point something billion. The club was seized for no reason, because right now, yeah, Chelsea is sold to an American-owned company, or and still there's still war going on in Ukraine. It didn't solve anything. Let's not forget the man has been robbed 4 point something billion, and the UK government pocket the money. I don't know what they're doing with it at this point, and it hasn't solved anything to anybody. It doesn't make anybody life better. And reading the message that was posted today, it just show how graceful the man is. I'm making sure make sure that the new owners has pretty much the same vision that he has about the club, which is a winning mentality. Also, the fact that he wanted the new owner to have success on and off the field. That part of the whole message is strike me a little on and off the field. So I'm asking, what is that the offside? The no owner off the field. So Roman off the field problem was always about Putin, his relationship with Putin. So let's just hope that the new owners have no relationship with anything stupid going on in any other country. So that this government will have a reason to drive Chelsea through the mud again. It is sad. It is sad. I'm not sure. I can only trust what Roman said. He said he makes sure that this new owner will bring the club to success. So I can only trust that, because I don't really know who Todd Boehly is. I know he's a Chelsea fan, but I don't have enough information on Todd to judge him or to be happy about the transfer of title. All I can say is thank Roman, because, like, I think it was Eric that went through the history saying, at least we Chelsea fan that around 40 years old, we were young supporting Chelsea, and at one point our being only supporter was just we support the team. We're living way far from England, and the reason why we always put some money aside to travel to England and watch Chelsea is the fact that everybody hates us. I would like to sit on that in England and sit at Stockholm Bridge, take a picture, go back home and show people I am part of this team that everybody hates. It's because of Roman. What Roman did to this club is because of what Mourinho turned this club into. That mentality, we win at all costs. We don't care about this the way we play, but at the end of the day, we'll pick up the club 1 or 2 cup per year or per season, or the way it is, and we kept doing that. We kept doing that, and I think what we didn't see coming is how bad people hate us, and that's all lead to the governments, and the result was what happened. Listen, we need to give a chance to Todd. The other thing is we have a coach that seemed to be smart, and thanks to Abramovich to hire him, that he hired him also. So at the end of the day, let's give a chance to the new management team, Todd and Tuchel, and see where they take us. But listen, we're not going to settle for less. We know who we are. We love being hated. We know we want people to hate us. So we don't want to settle for less. It's not because there is a transfer of title or there is a new owner that Chelsea will settle for 4th position without winning anything next season or the next few seasons. We want to win. If Tuchel does not bring it or Todd does not bring it, we need to be honest and scream and protest. Chelsea, that's what we are about. Winning at all costs. That's all I care about, me anyways. Okay, this is really hard for me, to be honest.
Boogie, I hear you, but this is the thing. You've mentioned the UK government and how they've dragged us through the mud because of the Roman Abramovich situation, and I'm reading in the chat Jack Zeldin and others talking about Abramovich being targeted by the UK government. Now, the thing is this with Abramovich, the UK government had no issue with him investing the money that he made the way that he made. Okay, now I've done my research and I know the way he made his billions was not under the cleanest circumstances. But I'll ask this question: how many billionaires do we know that have made their billions in the legitimate methods? They pay to governments, to politicians, to other organizations. That's the way these billionaires make their money. Right, wrong, it's the way it happens. The British government had no issue allowing him to buy Chelsea Football Club. They've taken him to court many a time, and the cases have all come to a conclusion. Elon Musk, double check it, mate. I think you'll find that he's not the cleanest as you think he might be. Double check it. Google. Do your research. The issue is this: will we see Chelsea continue to be targeted under Todd Boehly, or do you think that is it? Roman is gone. They're gonna back off now.
I don't think it will change. Just let me just give you one example. Jamie Carragher, the Liverpool 23, he used to play the centre back for Liverpool. Did you see what he said when the club was seized? Yeah, Chelsea deserve it, and the reason he gave to justify what he just said is the fact that Chelsea went after Steven Gerrard. Those people are nuts. They don't know. There is no connection. There is no logic in the way. People just hate Chelsea. It's not about Ukraine. It was never about Ukraine. It was
a lot of these pundits, their issue is because Chelsea were winning trophies while they were playing football and they didn't win those trophies, and they blame it on Roman Abramovich, and that's why you see the likes of Carragher and others, Neville and whatnot.
They blame the wealth. They blame the wealth of Roman because what? Chelsea can go and pick up a youth talent from any club in England or any club in Europe. Just pick up one youth, their best prospect, and bring it to Stamford Bridge or bring it to Coburn, and people just don't like it. And it's like, oh, that's a drug money, that's oil money, that's blood money. That's all it is. It was never about Ukraine war. Let me just, all those people, they go, If any Chelsea fan think because this club is being transferred to Todd, then the hatred is going to stop. Yeah, let me sell you a bridge to the heaven, man.
Let me hear from Podfather. Podfather, look, let me just put it to you in this way. No success comes without a price. To be successful, it's going to cost blood, sweat, tears, money, time, effort. We've had a lot of success under Roman Abramovich. And to be fair to the man, he's invested all of that. He's invested all of that on all the levels. Do you think Todd Boehly is going to be able to continue that level of success? Do you think Todd Boehly is going to be able to hit the ground running? We've heard about him investing 200 million in the transfer kitty. We're hearing about targets and whatnot, which we're going to discuss in a minute. Some of the names that are being mentioned, but firstly, give me your thoughts on Abramovich and how do you see Todd Boehly taking over?
Yeah. So I'm way past the I was a bit upset and emotional at first when this whole thing began, but I'm way past that now. Like I'm not even in that sort of headspace. Roman obviously has been amazing. as good an owner as we could wish for. Um, he wasn't perfect. He had decisions and did things that I disliked at the time. Fire says he manages, I would have disagreed with. The early part, the first probably 10 years, I would say were probably more successful than the last 10 years, but it's almost impossible to keep up that level of success that we had. But yeah, I'm very optimistic about Todd going forward. I get a similar feeling and vibe and seriousness as I did when Roman took over. Sure, he's not coming with the billions. Obviously we wanted the richest owner possible, where we just be guaranteed that they're going to spend $1 billion or this or that. But I see someone who's determined to show that Americans have learned from their past mistakes. Because people talk about American owners and the way they run clubs, but that was before Liverpool. That was before certain investments that happened at I think AC Milan and one or two other clubs. Where they've taken the lessons of the past and they've become more serious football people now. And there's a template that has been set for how to run a modern club and to make the best out of your resources without having to spend billions and billions, to keep the club competitive. So I'm very optimistic about the future. In terms of whether we'll have the same success, I think you have to take into account the landscape. The landscape is different, so we have to redefine what success is. I mean, I don't think even Roman would have struggled and was struggling to continue that level of success in this era, where you have
I'm gonna give you what I want to see, what I classify as success. Could Chelsea compete for the league title anytime soon?
Yeah, listen. The thing about it is, so people talk about the points total. Man City have 93 points, then 96 points, then whatever. But a lot of that is just 3 wins, 4 wins. It's not like a major thing to what we were winning and our points total. I think we got 92, 93 points on the Antonio Conte. So us as a club, we actually have pedigree in reaching those 90-point seasons. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility. Plus, if the league we all think league is going to be more competitive going forward, and if it is more competitive, then the points total will actually come down because you'll have more teams beating other teams and taking points over the teams. So it shouldn't be a point where we have to get 100 points to win, because that would mean that we're just pretty much going on beating the whole season and losing one game. But then the league is not as competitive as what we think it is then. So if Tottenham improves, if we improve, if Man United improves, we should all take points off each other. So it shouldn't take a 90 point or 100 points total to win the league. That's only the case where you have 2 teams that are just far ahead of everybody else. That's why it gets to those sort of stages. I think we will compete, but I think early on we'll have to concentrate probably more on cup competitions. I think
I'm gonna put some context into this.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna take this. This is open to everyone here in the panel, not only Podfather and also the people in the chat. I want to hear your comments on this. Liverpool won 2 cups. Chelsea won 2 cups. Liverpool finished second. We finished third. Liverpool are seen to have had a successful season because they were, very close to winning the Premier League. They were very close to winning the Champions League. They were very close, very close, very close. However, Chelsea, if we had the rubber, the green, as Liverpool have and had all season when it comes to a lot of decisions, I can see a lot of these draws that we've had be wins. I can definitely see that Carabao Cup that they had in their parade today being our cup this season. one
It could-
VAR call, one decision, one this, one that. Liverpool are by no means that far ahead of Chelsea. I think Man City, their persistence, their consistency is better, generally speaking, because I think Man City didn't have the strikers that Liverpool had, and yet they still managed to win so many games and score so many goals. I think the fact that Liverpool have the men they have up front and they still achieved what they achieved, I think Chelsea are ahead of them when it comes to where we are. And when I'm talking about challenging for the title, I'm not saying that I don't think we are able to do it. No, I think we are able to do it, but I think we need to have the right transfer window to do it, because getting XYZ player in XYZ position will make all that much of a difference. Right now, we don't have cover on the wing, in the wing backs. Emerson Palmieri is apparently linked to teams in Italy. Marcos Alonso, he's going to Barcelona apparently. We need to have replacements of a high caliber. I don't want to have just replacements. I want to have a high caliber replacements. I want to see Ben Chilwell being given a run for his money. I want to see someone to come in and challenge Reece James for his spot. In midfield, in defense, in attack. That is what we need to do. We need to upgrade. And I know Tuchel said we need to rebuild. I think we need to upgrade. And that's to all of you. I want to hear your thoughts on all of that.
I have to slightly disagree with you, Mo. I think we're miles behind Man City and Liverpool. I think Liverpool they've
based on what? Based on
based on the fact that I think Liverpool have lost 3 games in all competitions this season. Wow. That's it. 4 draws. I think like 40 wins or something like that. Like they've and
you don't think that a lot of decisions were going their way when for us, a lot of decisions were going against us.
No, I do, but I think that's part of football. I think decisions go for you when you have the better strikers, when you have the better attackers and better finishers. I think all this comes into play. I think when you have a Kevin De Bruyne, decisions are going to go for you because you're going to create unbelievable chances constantly. You're going to be in the game. You're going to have guys who, just like that, snap in and take control of the game. You don't have to be playing well. We don't have that. You know what I mean? So we have a good structure, a good team, a good system that was set up, which allowed us to function and be competitive for a certain period of the season. But I still don't see us, when the heat is on, going 13-game winning streak, 10-game winning streak, 12-game winning streak. When the heat is on, not beginning of the season, not November to December or September, like the first 3-4 months of the season where everybody's, fit and firing. When people start getting tired, when the students go against you, when you have 1 or 2 injuries, to keep that, like they had Mane and Salah go to African nations, and they won every game while they were out there, and continued their run. At the point, even when we played them in January, I think we were level. I think they were 2 points ahead of us when we drew with them at the bridge. I think they were like 2 or 3 points ahead of us. But like that game was to decide if any of us could catch City, and we drew, and everybody said we're both out of the race. What did they do? They won. I think 40 out of the next 44 points they picked up. I haven't seen this team do that. And the way we complain about our players, whether it's Alonso, whether it's Aspilicueta getting old, whether it's Sarr, there's no realistic way we should be able to look at our team and for them to be in contention with those guys. Where I think we have a chance is that I think both of these teams are going to go through a rebuild, because both teams have been together for a long time now. There's talk of Sterling leaving, there's talk of Mahrez leaving, there's talk of Gabriel Jesus leaving. Liverpool, I think Mane. I think Fabrizio was saying that Mane is on his way to Bayern Munich. These are big changes that are happening in these clubs that could affect the landscape. Even though they're getting in Holland, it's still a new team, a new way of playing that we're going to see. It's going to be the Foden and Grealish for them next season. So those are not guys that we've seen carry them to a title. We've seen Sterling, we've seen Mahrez, yeah, we've seen Jesus involved. So it's a new set of players, and because of the fact that we're losing our whole back line, we can't it's we're in a position where we're in a position where if we're still complaining about the attackers and the way we create chances and we're not as clinical or like we can't see the pattern, we can't understand exactly how we want to attack and how we're going to consistently create chances or whatever, then I don't see how we can compare ourselves to these teams. You know?
All right. I'm gonna bring in Eric on this. I hear what Pod is saying, but for me, it's more about us than it is about them because Pod clearly, talked about players that key players that Man City are going to be losing. So will Liverpool, and so is Chelsea. However, I think we need to look at ourselves before we look at the opposition when it comes to developing and upgrading and building. Do you think the losses that we have incurred? And this is to Eric. Do you think the losses that we have incurred in defense are going to be too hard for us to rectify in one season, as well as try to upgrade the other positions that we need to upgrade?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
I think I guess time will tell. It's difficult. Can we replace Rudiger right now with a like for like option? Probably not. Maybe we might have to change the formation. I'm not sure. I've heard people talking about Koulibaly. Maybe he can play on that left side. Anybody who is considering playing a young player, especially in those defensive positions, you have to be prepared to be patient. You have to be patient. You have to be prepared for them to make mistakes. That's what happens. I don't care how many games you've played, how experienced you are. If you're a younger player, especially as a defender, you're not as consistent, you're not as experienced as, the older players. That's how it is. Like the older you are, the better you are as a defender. There are some things that you can only learn when you play, when you learn alongside, veterans, which is a very important reason why we need to have Thiago Silva still there. So it's possible. I'm not going to say we can't do it, but looking generally at the squad we have, and there's a huge gap. Okay, there is a gap, but it's not. It's a perception thing for me. We don't have to do so much to reduce that gap, in my opinion. I think it is just based on the trajectory of Chelsea right now and the other clubs. Then of course that's a big gap, and if we continue to do things the way we've been doing things, then that gap won't close. But if we start changing things and, have a plan, a very good plan, and we work towards it for, 3, 4, 5 transfer windows, then before you know it, 2 years' time, we'll be right up there with the other teams. It just depends on how well we can do business, how efficiently and effectively we can get the right players to close that gap. For me, I don't think the gap is that big. I really don't. I think Pod was just mentioning how we got 93 points on that country. Yes, that was a while ago, but we still did it. That season we won like 12, 13 games in a row as well. So we know we can do stuff like this. We've done it before. It's just about the planning. Is the planning going to be good enough to close that gap? Liverpool took a very long time to be able to close that gap, and now they're competing with City on a similar level. In terms of the title, winning the league is going to be very difficult because we're competing against a Man City team who, the levels of consistency that they've shown I've never seen anything like that before. Like I've never seen the level of consistency that Pep has managed to get out of these players. But that doesn't mean that we can't do it. Liverpool did it one season. They got 99 points and they won the league by a landslide. Okay, maybe it wasn't like 20 points plus, but there was a good gap. I think City got like 81 points and they got 99. So they showed that you can do it. And I feel that if the league is more competitive in terms of the title race, that would put even more pressure on Man City and it would reduce their chances of winning the title. If you have two teams like Liverpool, maybe three teams who are on a similar level, and then all those three teams are competing in Man City, all of a sudden, that narrows the gap, that narrows the margin, and it puts more pressure on them and it makes things more difficult. And it means that other teams have a chance of winning the title. So for me, it's not really this huge, there's such a chasm between us and City or us and Liverpool. No. Because say whatever you want about the points, if you don't win the title, for me, I'm not trying to disrespect Liverpool or the fans, but what does it mean really? Like, if you're a big club, it's about winning. Yes, you go along with the journey, it's a nice experience, you feel good, you're trying to achieve something, you're going, everybody's, on one, singing with the same voice and everything, going towards the same direction. But if at the end of it, you can't get over the line, you can't get a trophy. Some of the pundits after the Liverpool game were embarrassing. Talking about Liverpool are still the better team. No, they're not, because they didn't win. You have to win. You have to get over the line. So yeah, I could talk about Chelsea. Look how many finals Chelsea got to.
Liverpool got into three finals. Do you know how many goals they scored?
Zero.
Zero.
One. Was it one? That's a zero.
No, zero. Zero. They scored
Yeah,
zero
zero.
goals. Zero goals.
Yeah.
They won two of them, but they didn't even score a single goal. And that's with Mane, Salah,
Yeah.
Diaz, Firmino, Jota, and the rest of the man name. Before we talk about Todd
Mo.
Boehly, one second.
Yeah.
Before we talk about Todd Boehly and the other transfers, I wanna bring in Boogeyman. Pod, do you want to interject on to what Eric said, or?
Yeah, I just want to say quickly. The reason why I said without it is because it's a little exercise you can do. It's called combined 11, and every time I do it, I can't get more than two Chelsea players in either Liverpool or combination with City. And then you go to the bench, it's even worse. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on. So you're saying that the standard of their squads are better than ours? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think the Liverpool squad is better than the City squad.
I think the first 11 is.
No. Liverpool squad isn't better than City. No.
I think it is.
I'm not sure about squad. Squad wise, no.
I think it is. I think Van Dijk is better than any of the City defenders. I think Alisson is the better keeper. I think I like Walker.
Like I said,
first 11.
But Trent is better.
Pod. First 11, I agree with you.
Yeah.
First 11, I agree with you. But as a squad depth, I think City is better than Liverpool. And I think if we're looking at squad, and with us, finishing where we finished, with us, not winning a domestic trophy, when we compare our starting 11 with Liverpool starting 11, I think we will probably pick, a lot of Liverpool players in respect to, who would you play as a striker? Would you play Lukaku? No.
I'd play Jota. I think he scored more goals than Havertz
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying it's because of the season we've had. Had Lukaku smashed in 30 goals, 35 goals, you'd be like, no, it's Lukaku. Okay. But that's what I'm saying, because of the season we've had. I want to bring in Boogeyman. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to your pod. I want to bring in Boogeyman. Boogeyman, we've been discussing the squad depth, the position of Chelsea in respect to them challenging for a title with Liverpool and City being where they are. How far are we away from them? How far behind is Chelsea? How much work are we going to have to do in this transfer window before we can actually, have a squad that Pod would pick at least 5 players to match with Liverpool. So I want to hear your point of view on that, and then after that, we're gonna go and discuss 3 players. Before I bring in Boogeyman, guys in the chat, we're gonna discuss Dembele, Neymar, and Koundé. All right, in respect to the transfer window. So that's gonna happen after I hear Boogeyman's thoughts on Chelsea challenging for the title. Take it away, Boogie.
Thanks. I agree partially with what a lot of people have said. The truth is, I don't think we should even hesitate to look at the table when come to answer those type of questions. We are 17 points behind Liverpool, and where is the where do we fight? We should all agree. 17 points in EPL, we know where we belong. We're not even close to challenging for any title. And I say, we just lost one of our best defender. Rudiger is gone. So there is no comment. I just I can say, okay, yeah, Rhys James is good. Then who give a shit? Like right now, we're not good enough to challenge for any title right now. We're just not good. We cannot compare ourselves with Liverpool. We cannot compare ourselves with Manchester City. Just tell me who is Manchester City losing this season? No, nobody. They bring in Haaland. Come on, guys. Who is Liverpool losing? Mane? Did you see that number 23 that is running through the channel against Real Madrid? They have the replacement already. So Diaz, his name is Diaz or something, yeah, like that. So guys, what are we talking about? We don't. Someone said this league is going to be more difficult next season. Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be difficult for people that are at the bottom. The guy that cannot reach the 70 point distance between the top 2 and the rest of the pack. The rest of the pack are going to fight. That's where it's going to be bloody. There's no Liverpool and Manchester City fight now. People say, okay, we played 2 cups against Liverpool, and it was on detail that they won. Yeah, those details are part of the football. Putting penalty in the nets is part of football. It wasn't invented during the final. No, it was there before. Our players know you have to put penalty in the net to win a cup. When you reach that state. So it's whether that Lukaku goes, yeah, we all scream. We criticize VAR. We say, yeah, VAR was not invented during just that game. VAR was there. If Pulisic was to score his goals, we won't be here screaming. Listen, we're not good enough. Let's just put it this way. And the fact that we lost Rudiger, I'm not even going to anybody that asks me how far are we from Liverpool. We're not even in the state of mind to even discuss Liverpool quality and compare that to Chelsea. We're not there. Let's just make it clear. We're not good enough to even compare ourselves with Liverpool. No, that we were lucky to go toe-to-toe with Liverpool 2 games, but when it comes to an entire season from game 1 to game 38, now we cannot compete with Liverpool. The consistency, we don't have it. I don't think we're good enough to even talk that way at this point. So me, that's the simplest. Me, that's where I understand. That's how I'm taking it now.
Yeah, can I ask you a question quickly?
But I'm listening
because I think we all know we're not good enough. That wasn't even the point of I think that wasn't the point of what Mo was saying. How long do you think? Yeah. So how far away are we? And for me, I think we can close the gap in 2 seasons. I really do. But it depends on how well we do our business in the windows. That's what I think. Look how far away Liverpool were.
That's what I'm saying.
This is what
how big?
Can I answer that question quick?
Wait. How big? I'll let you answer it, but I want to add to it. How big a factor is Erling Haaland going to Man City gonna be in that gap? Do you think he's gonna be a massive factor, or is Man City still gonna win the same amount of games that they're winning right now?
Man City are not going to get 120 points. I think this is the limit. Yeah. But like I said, what will happen with Haaland is that the players around him will probably get less goals because he's getting more goals. That's what happens when you have a strike. I don't think Man City's goal tally is going to improve by 20, and everybody will maintain their goals. Same people that were taking penalties before, that's over with. He's going to be taking the penalties. He's going to be getting the headers. The gameplay is going to be directed towards him. Where a player like him comes into play is those big games. So against Liverpool, against City, against Tottenham or whatever, those players make the difference. Just like De Bruyne does whenever we play them. He steps up and just, even if the game is equal, even if we're playing better, yeah, all he needs is a 10, 15 minute spell and the game is gone. That's where players like Haaland come into play. But all I was gonna say is this. In the history of football, I've never seen a team maintain the same points total. So just by the law of averages, it's gonna come down. It's just whether we're smart enough and we're adapt enough to be able to take advantage of that. Because there's something called I've seen it before. It's like a sneaky, somebody who's just in third, so they're not really looking at him in a race. 4 people are running. The guy who's in third, just no real attention. The pressure is on first and second, and the third guy just sneaks the race. I've seen it. I've seen Atletico Madrid do it. I've seen Dortmund do it in Germany to Bayern Munich. It's not impossible to do. It's not impossible to do.
Momo wants to move on. Momo wants to move on. So I just sorry.
So,
yeah, go on, Eric.
Can I answer the question?
I'm sure Mo wants to go move on, but I want to squeeze a few comments in. I can't just let Boogeyman just this whole thing with Liverpool. Like, okay, look at how many games we played against Liverpool, and yes, you're completely right. Small margins make all the difference today. And I'm not arguing with that. So they're still a better team than us. But if we're so much worse than them, why did they struggle on so many occasions? We played like four times against them. So, and they didn't beat us once in 90 minutes.
Eric, styles make fights. Barcelona always struggled against us. We were never on their level. Yeah. But they always struggled against us because of the way we play. The way Tuchel sets up his team is perfect to counteract.
But we also do the same thing to Man City as well. But just moving quickly on from that, I just wanted to mention about Haaland. Haaland is not. I have an unpopular opinion about this player. I think he's going to struggle. I really do. He's not going to hit the ground running. But let's see. Let's see if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I hold my hands up. But
okay. Let me just answer your
hat trick on the first day incoming.
My opinion on Haaland is a little different because you cannot have Bernardo Silva on the left and then have Kevin De Bruyne on the other side. The problem with Haaland being in the center as a center forward for Manchester City, he's going to draw defenders through, and he's that talented. I've watched Haaland with Dortmund many times. He is that talented and physically present, talented. So if you give room to Bernardo Silva on the right side, you give room to Kevin De Bruyne. That's what Haaland's going to do. The problem with Lukaku is, of course, Lukaku has their presence in the middle, but we don't have any wider player that can take the ball and cross it directly on the far post and score. Manchester City have them. Haaland is going to allow Kevin De Bruyne to have room. Anyways, those are just comments. Haaland is going to allow those widened players because he's going to draw them a defender to him. And Manchester City has the quality to score from outside the goal, which is make them more dangerous with Haaland. Even Haaland is not hitting the ground running. People are going to score goal like crazy. Those people that can take shot from distance, it's going to be difficult for a lot of teams to handle Manchester City. That's the way I see the future, but it may not be true also. But answering your question, how far away from Liverpool? I think the question you should be asking yourself first is how far is Tottenham from Liverpool? Because we are close to Tottenham. That's where we are at this point. We should. Tottenham is in turn 4, right?
How many games did they play this season?
No, it doesn't matter.
No. How many? Of course it matters. Of course it does.
Tottenham was 9 position of 8 position when Conte took them.
No.
And
Boogie, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to agree with Eric on this because we are fatigued, man. I think we played more minutes
so
than
you're
any
telling me
single club in world football this season. We played more football minutes. We've had
So your
madness.
argument is during the season, games were just popping up. Like we didn't know we have those games before, right? We just decided to just.
That's not my argument. No.
Yeah, but that's
I'm
your
saying-
argument. We have the plan. We start the season. We know how good we are. We know we can play pretty much all cup final. We didn't get a chance, or our managers didn't select the team. Sometimes you have to rotate, even if you know that. Okay, we play our stronger team, but we keep tying games or losing games.
Yeah.
So we didn't manage our squad properly. That's something else. It's not on.
I agree. I
don't
agree.
care about if common game Tottenham play. They are in the same league. They are third.
I agree with you. I agree. However, we had injuries. We had COVID. We had games that should have been postponed that weren't postponed.
So COVID was only in Cobham.
No. I'm saying those circumstances with other clubs, every single club had at least one fixture postponed. Chelsea had 0 postponed. We had some back-breaking injuries, and I don't mean broken backs. I mean we had some injuries that broke the back of Chelsea Football Club, Chelsea team. We had James and Chilwell both out at the same time, with a formation that relies heavily on wing-backs. We didn't even change the formation. We started to play Pulisic. We started to play Callum Hudson-Odoi. We even ended up playing Loftus-Cheek as a wing-back. We didn't have adequate cover. So I agree with you. The squad, we didn't plan correctly for these kind of outcomes. We didn't anticipate well enough. Errors were made. I agree. But that being said, I think this is something we can address. Chelsea Football Club can compete. In my opinion, I think we can compete. And I would say a couple of seasons. But the Boogeyman, going back to Chelsea's last title that we won under Antonio Conte, we were not in Europe. We did not have to play midweek like we did now. And that's how we won the title, because Antonio Conte was able to focus on the title. Tottenham, next season, I think we're going to see them maybe even struggle to be in the top 4 race, because they're going to have Champions League football. Maybe, and I could be wrong. Next season, next season we have to address certain positions, and I want to use this. I want to use this to address the Koundé situation, because Chelsea Football Club is on the verge of signing Koundé, as per every single journalist that is reporting on this. Koundé is a very good player, but Koundé alone will not be sufficient, because Koundé, we're losing potentially 3 centre backs. We're losing potentially Aspilicueta, Christensen, and Rudiger. Bringing in 1 centre back isn't going to be enough. So bringing in Koundé for the price that we're paying for him, I think is close to £60 million. Leaving us with £140 million as per reports of a £200 million kitty. How is the rest of the money going to be spent? Because we need to bring in another centre back. We need to bring in another midfielder, and apparently Tchouaméni is off to Real Madrid, so we're only able to bring in Declan Rice. West Ham are going to sell him for an arm and a leg. So are we going to pay an arm and a leg to get in Declan Rice? Because if we buy Declan Rice, then all we can afford is Declan Rice and Koundé, and we can't buy anybody else. So where are we?
Getting their wages.
Wages is put aside for now. Wages put aside because we have got players who are leaving the club. Therefore, we are freeing up some wages. We are potentially going to be addressing the wage structure with Todd Boehly. See what he has in respect to that. But let's just talk about players coming in, because we have Dembélé, and lads, I have it on very what's the word here, on credible sources, that Thomas Tuchel has personally, specifically, asked Todd Boehly to sign Ousmane Dembélé. Ousmane Dembélé is a target for Tuchel. So Ousmane Dembélé, and from what I understand, we have made progress in negotiations. Now, as you all know, until the license is amended and whatnot, we can't actually officially buy players or sell players. But Chelsea are making moves in respect to Ousmane Dembélé. So if Ousmane Dembélé is coming in, we can expect maybe someone going out from our attackers. Therefore, who do you guys think is going to go out? How do you guys see this next window happening? And by the way, the Neymar story, I know a lot of people were asking for us to discuss it. If you guys want to discuss it, you can discuss it. I don't really think there's much in it. Me personally, I don't think there's much in this particular story as it is right now. Maybe in a few weeks there's something else happens, but right now I think it's just, Paris Saint-Germain don't want to see any tension between Mbappe and Neymar, and apparently Mbappe doesn't want to have Neymar in the team, in the squad. Player power playing its part again, and maybe Neymar is on the way out. So I want to hear from you guys your thoughts on Dembele, on Koundé, on defense, midfield. Let me get your thoughts and opinions on this.
I just want to address one of the super chats earlier who was asking about signing and when they were going to take place. From what I've heard, Bowling has actually been in every day at Chelsea this whole week, and has pretty much been in the UK the last 2-3 weeks. Hasn't gone back to America, so he's actually on ground in the club, working with the board, and Tugu as well. I think cancelled his holidays, so they're very serious, and they're aware of the situation we find ourselves in with half the defense leaving and the seriousness of the situation. So I think we can all rest assured that work is being done. It's not a case of everybody's on holiday and then they're just going to begin work this week. So when you see links
just interrupt. This is correct, Eric Dugan. This is correct. Lukaku has fired his agent. I've heard it from multiple sources. Sorry, Pod, carry on.
Yeah. I'm not surprised because the agent has given him a lot of bad advice this season.
Yeah.
But So I think there is a lot of credibility to a lot of these rumors and reports. The Dembele one, I'm not surprised because we had that in January. We had a lot of the similar things that Thomas Tuchel was interested as a player he's worked with before. He's had his best season with him. The clips on YouTube you can go and watch of Thomas Tuchel talking about him, and he's saying that he's probably the most natural, talented player he's ever worked with. There's an interview where Tuchel goes into detail. Obviously, the only issue with him is the injury record, which is should be of concern, because the last thing you want to do is spend all this money on a signing and they're out for half the season. Chelsea historically hasn't really had to deal with injury-prone players, so we'd like to continue that and avoid that situation if we can. I think he's definitely worth the risk as a free. I think he's going to come in on high wages because he is a free, so that has to be understood. And if that's the case, then you have to get the highest wage of the underperforming player to leave, and that happens to be Werner, Lukaku, and Kepa. So those are the three that would probably need to leave to create a wage space for Dembele. I think the winner one, the club will like to recoup a lot of their money. So I don't think it's going to be harder to just write it off. Like it's going to have to be like a good loan, or they're going to have to get close to the 40 million that they paid for him. Yeah, I like him as a player. I think he can play both wings. He can cross. He's 2-footed. He can score. Physically, he's filled out as well from his younger days. He's quite big.
Dembele,
Tall.
Dembele
Yeah,
is
he
he's a
has all the
world
attributes for the Premiership. Yeah, basically.
he's a world class player. The only
Yeah,
issue I have with him, and this is
yeah,
something that we discussed many a time on this channel,
mm,
is his injuries and his history of injuries. Now, could Tuchel utilize him? Could Tuchel avoid him getting injured? I don't think you can avoid a player getting injured, but you can rotate him in a way you can, protect him to a certain degree.
yeah,
I also believe that some of his injuries might be because of his lack of motivation to play for
yeah,
for certain managers, for certain systems in certain manners. So I think
mm,
playing for Tuchel, a manager that has a lot of respect for him and admiration for him, could see the best come from Dembele.
yeah.
Um, the defensive aspect, Pod, and for me, I have a feeling that we might be changing our style of play next season because we are gonna be short on centre backs. We could revert
Mm.
to a back four. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know because I've heard rumors that the club is looking to bring in 3 new centre backs. Yeah, next
Who have you
season.
heard? I mean,
I've heard
Kunde, potentially
Kunde,
Koulibaly.
Kunde, Guardiola. They're trying to get Aspilicueta to stay as well. But yeah, potentially Koulibaly. Those are 3 right there. So Kunde, Guardiola, and Koulibaly. I don't expect them to get all 3 because I think that would be most of the budget gone if that were the case. So I expect probably two, and maybe either you promote someone from the youth team, or pick up some cheap free option that they'll find out there. But I've heard that because even we've been linked to wing backs as well. So I would like us to go back to a 4, but I just don't see. I see us sticking with this formation, for the time being, for at least this season going forward. Even though I think the fact that all these defenders are leaving does leave us with the opportunity to actually maybe slightly tweak or change the system and try something different. But I think Tuchel, um, you know, whether we like it or not, seems to be more of a safety first manager, and this is the approach. I think he's going to undertake. Now the thing is, we don't want a situation where we have 22-year-olds. I think the Guardiola guy that we've been linked with is 20, and Kunde is 22. So these are extremely young players, and defenders tend to mature 25, 26, 27, and up until then they're inconsistent. I remember last year everybody was talking about what's the guy's name, Upamenenko from Leipzig. People were, this guy was amazing, and the guy's gone to Bayern, and he just made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake this season. And this guy was brilliant, like absolutely brilliant. Bring out the ball, tackles, physically amazing, everything. But all of a sudden, he's had a dip in form. So it's a position that it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot of growing pains for us, basically, going forward.
All right,
And
I want to get Boogeyman to address the midfield situation. Boogie Pod just talked about the defense and the attack. Declan Rice, Boogie, what's your thoughts on that?
I,
And caveat. Sorry.
yeah, for me, yeah, go ahead.
Jorginho. A caveat to that is Jorginho and Kante. Apparently Jorginho is keen to go back to Italy. Apparently, every transfer window we hear, he's keen to go back to Italy. But there's also talk about Kante right now. What is your position in regards to Jorginho and Kante and Declan Rice potentially coming in? How do you see this panning out moving forward, in your opinion, Boogie?
I think Kante stays. Kante is not going anywhere. Kante will be renewed. Is of course he is on high wages, but the attitude of the man is amazing. And if a club is trying to rebuild, I'm not saying rebuild around Kante, but you want to have that guy that will give you the man of the match performances if for any reason you reach semi-final or final. And if you keep Kante injury free by just managing properly, you get that performance from him. Like it's just a guarantee. And Kante, the way he lived his life so far, I think still have 2 or 3 years in him that we can use during those games. We need someone to actually destroy the midfield or destroy our opponent transitions. So for me, Kante stays. When it comes to Jorginho, uh, Jorginho is a leader. I know a lot of people don't see those quality of him during the game. Tuchel does not talk too much during the game, or at least whatever he's saying, nobody seems to listen to him. And as you can always notice, Jorginho is the one talking to pretty much all the player on the field. So he's a link. He is a vice captain, if I'm not mistaken. At the same time, during the game, he is the one that talking to everybody. Yo, give the ball, do this, do so. He's a leader on the pitch. I'm not sure how much we'll be losing letting Jorginho go to Juventus because I think that's where he was rumored to go into. So I'm not sure. If you ask me, I'd rather have Jorginho, Kante both stay at Chelsea, and then we bring Declan Rice if Tchouameni is not an option anymore. Because at the end of the day, we need to bring someone new in that midfield to revitalize, to how do you say this in English again? To bring some sort of
Revitalize.
yeah,
Revitalize.
revitalize the other ones. So you have to bring challenge every season. Lampard said that when he was playing for Chelsea, you cannot just think you're the best and just suck. No, the next season there's a new midfield Balak showing up. You have to look at where Balak is good at, and you have to improve those also yourself to be able to hold your position. So you need to bring challenge to one or two positions at Chelsea this season or this next season. So the mount can improve. The Kante can notice, okay, I have to do more on this position or this side of my game to improve. Even then, the Conor Gallagher, if he come in, or Billy Gilmore, they have to notice that there's always challenge. Chelsea will always be that team that will not just settle for, okay, we have two, we have Mason Mount. That's now. It has to challenge. We have to challenge them to improve, to reach their potential. So for me, in that midfield this season, we got a lot of problems. That's for sure. Tuchel also mentioned a few of them. So bringing, if we have the money to bring Declan Rice, I'll be happy. But if we don't, let's bring someone else in. And there's so much.
Basuma.
Busuma, yeah, the kid that I love, he is. I mean, for what I saw from him so far is he can actually carry a ball and take a shot from distance, which none of our midfield knows how to do. And it's crazy that we are at this level of our game, and none of our midfield know how to take a shot from distance. Kante try many times, doesn't work. Kovacic just doesn't want to do it anymore because I think he knows that the TV is on him, and people will talk about it. So he said, "No, I'm not shaking. I'm not taking the shot." Jorginho legs are not strong enough to take a shot from outside the box anyway. So I think bringing Busuma in, it might be a way of sending the message out. Kovacic, you need to work on those weaknesses when it comes to your game. So I would love to have Basuma. Or I think there is also that the Leicester midfielder in Ndidi work rate also. I think I mean, he's just a little taller, and also his work rate in the middle is amazing sometimes, and he can take shot from distance. It's also like I think it's a Sevilla midfield, Olivier Capoue. That his way of controlling the ball and taking shot from distance, I like it a lot. But I don't think Chelsea will go for. I think he's 30 something already. So yeah, the midfield, we need to bring a challenge in it. We need to bring someone with something different to 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 to, to challenge all the others that we have. So now someone will say, but we cannot just bring people in without letting other goes. Between Kante and Jorginho, I don't think we should touch those. I think we should open the door for Loftus-Cheek to go. Pot will be mad right now. But at the end of the day, someone has to go. We have to free the midfield. And I know what are the Spanish guy is gone for. We're not going to renew his loan. But other than that, we have to let someone go. But I don't want Jorginho or Kante. I want them to stay because one is a leader and one is a machine. I think both should stay.
All right. I'm gonna get Eric to come in on the midfield, attack, and defense. But Eric, I want you to also take into account the following: the fact that Tuchel is specifying Dembélé to Todd Boehly as a player he wants to see Chelsea approach. Do you think that he might be doing the same for the other positions? And would you like to see Todd Boehly bring in the players that Tuchel is asking for? And I know this is going to sound stupid, or should he be focusing on what the Chelsea scouting is actually looking to bring in? So how do you think this should be approached? And I know what you're going to say, but I just thought we'll say it out loud,
Yeah, look, I think that some people don't have a lot of faith in Tuchel's talent ID. People say that he doesn't know how to identify the right talents to fit what he wants. I've heard that a few times. But for me, I would rather go with that over what we've seen from our scouts. I think we may as well back the manager, get the players he actually wants, and then if he fails, then you say, this is mostly your fault. Obviously, the players still have to go out and perform. But, we can blame him for the most part. And then we can say maybe it's time to move on. It's time to replace you. So I'm not really concerned about Tuchel's, talent identification or talent acquisition. I think most of us would agree that Dembélé is a very good option, especially if he can stay fit. If he can stay fit, wow, that is a very special player, very talented. He can do everything offensively. He can do everything. So that would be just for I think, okay, we don't really care too much about the statements, about looking good on paper. But, that would be a very good statement signing. That would be huge. Not just because it's good on paper, but if it actually works, if he can stay fit, that would be a very big positive for us. And the age is also right. He's the right age. He's not old. He's in his mid-20s. So there's a lot of things that could go well with this. I'm very excited about it. I think it will happen. I hope it does. And in terms of the other positions, I think that's what Tuchel would do. He would have guys he thinks would fit. He would have, first choice, second choice. Hopefully we get, our top two choices in each of these positions. This is part of what I was saying with regards to closing that gap. If we can do the right business, we can close the gap within 2 seasons. I really believe that. So there's a lot of work to be done here, but I think Tuchel will be back. I think Todd Boehly will take a lot of notice. Like when Tuchel says something, he will listen and he will choose, based on what Tuchel wants. I think that's the most important thing. So that's what I'm expecting to happen. Yeah, in terms of who I want, bring Dembélé in, yes, definitely. Declan Rice, if Declan Rice can be a, single pivot defensive midfielder by himself, bring him in as well. Jorginho and Kante can stay, but if Jorginho wants to go, then we have to let him go. If he doesn't want to be a bench player, then we have to sell him and get the money. Kante, we know Kante hasn't really been involved, so he won't be that upset, not starting every game. He can't even do it because he's been having injury, problems. So that's where I see that with the midfield. Defensively, we can't. I've just, we can't rely on a 20-year-old. Maybe I'm wrong though. Liverpool did very well with the Konate signing, and even before that, Gomez was very young. but he was very consistent
How
as
much
well.
was Konate? 35 million euro. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Great player.
fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
great player.
So if we get a signing like Konate, then fantastic, really nice, really, and even Chalobah for his age, really consistent. Does barely makes mistakes. Yes, he's been making mistakes recently, but generally speaking, he's been really good. I think he's very talented. So if this Vardiol player or somebody else from our academy, a lot of people mentioned Cole, commiserations to him. He was involved with the goal that they conceded. They didn't manage to get
He's
promoted.
18,
But
isn't he?
no, he's not 18. I think he's like 19 or 20.
20,
I'm
I
not
think.
sure.
20?
Let's
Actually, I'll
go,
check now.
yeah. So, question for the Dembele case, Eric.
Yeah.
How much do you think? How much would be Dembele wages? And
It's like,
I'm pretty sure you will say he's probably going to be on high wages. And
yeah.
we
You
have
know,
Mount Race, Mount Race Kai. Who else? Who?
I would sell Timo Werner and give him the wages.
look,
That is not a question. The question is we have Mount, we have all those kids all the way to Chalobah. That their contract expire in a year or something like that, and they're all going to be renewed. So you bring the players, Ousmane Dembélé. He is good. We saw him. He has some flash. He can show some. But when we don't know if Dembélé is going to play 58 games, we don't know if Dembélé is going to play 48 games in the season. This is EPL. He has never proven anything in EPL before. So this is EPL. You know the consistent player that you have in your team, Mount, Kai, the Reese.
Do you want us to leave Dembele and let him go somewhere
No,
else?
no. What I'm trying to say is bringing Dembele on the high wages. When those players, those young players just listed, come to renew their contract, are you going to be able to tell them Dembele is 250 or 230 pound a week, and Mount you're going to be 150 or 170? It's not going to happen.
yes,
You don't rebuild. It's not
I
possible
think
to rebuild.
I think you can do that. I think you can do that.
How do
I,
you
I'm,
do?
I,
How
I
do you
I
do?
already heard. I heard that Mount is going to get an increased wage. He's going to get like double what he's earning now.
Mount is
Rhys
100 right now,
James,
or something, right?
no. It's
Mount
like
I think
70 something,
80 or 70
80.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
so
not a
double
lot.
mount wages right now is 160. Dembele
Yeah,
is not gonna cost coming in with less than 160.
no, but like Mo was saying,
Dembele will be north of 2. Dembele will be north of 2. He'll
it
be
won't be
250.
400. It won't be
I'm
that
Then
much.
I'm
It won't
how
be
I'm
that
here,
No,
much.
no,
I'm
no, no, no.
here, I'm here
then how
300.
do you build? How do you convince these young players to renew their contract when they
No,
know they're
but
going to be playing
yeah,
58 games in a season? When they know the Dembele coming not playing, getting injured, playing 32 or 30 some games. Of course, he
but
may
they don't know.
sometimes he may score goals, but I just don't think that's the right way to proceed.
It's no,
No,
but hold on,
but Boogie, you have to remember, yeah, these players don't just compare their wages to who's in the
exactly.
club. They compare it to the
That's
whole of
the
the
reason
Premiership.
why
No,
Abraham left.
listen. So I'm saying whether you sign Dembele or not, yeah, Mount knows what Bernardo Silva is on. He knows what Sterling is on. He knows what all these guys are on, and he knows his importance to Chelsea. So whether you bring in Dembele or not, it's not going to make any difference in his
Yeah,
valuation of himself. He's going to look at Dembele and say, you know what,
Do you know?
this
Do you know what
this
we should
guy
do?
this guy has been playing 7 years. I just got into the Premiership
Pod,
2 years ago.
No.
Yeah,
pod. We should
Then you
say,
got it
look.
wrong.
We should
It's
say,
not
look. We should
different
say,
from
look.
you and me.
We will Boogie. We will give you all an increase on your contracts, but we're gonna have a benchmark for our new contracts, and that benchmark is Liverpool's wage structure. Look at what Mo Salah is getting. Look at what Van Dijk is getting. All right, because those guys are getting what is it?
215.
250, two something. All right. So Mason Mount, love you. We'll give you 180 because you're not better than Mohamed Salah. All right. Defenders, no one's gonna get more than 2 because you're not better than Van Dijk.
this is all part of Marina's thing, by the way, right? Isn't it?
Listen, Eric. You know, we had a stream. I think you were Podfather and all 3 of you were on it, where we compared the wage structure of Man
the Liverpool
City,
wages.
Liverpool and Manchester United with Chelsea. We did it over two nights, and players are going to demand, and it's up to you to accept or don't. We lost Rudiger because for 2 years we wouldn't give him what he wanted. So I think we're going to see players demanding stuff, but end of the day, we got to do what's right by our club, and I have a feeling Todd Boehly is going to tighten up the ship. He's going to tighten up this man. Todd Boehly is a numbers man. He's a stats man. He's a numbers man. He's going to try to look. We played an interview on one of our streams of him talking about investing in football in the Premier League, and he was asked about why he wanted to go and buy Chelsea, and this was before his latest bid. This was after his first bid, and he said football is the best sporting franchise to invest in because of its global appeal and its potential. So Todd Boehly is coming into this for many reasons, but one of the reasons is it's a business opportunity. Okay, so he isn't going to spend money like it's growing on trees. He isn't going to be throwing money to fix the problems that we have at Chelsea. Okay, but at the same time, he is going to address the problems because with success comes profit. With failure comes loss. Therefore, he is going to want to see Chelsea succeed, but he wants to do it in the most efficient manner. And that is something Chelsea haven't been doing under Roman Abramovich. Love Roman. But Roman, he was a very rich sports fan who owned the club. This guy, he is a business owner. Todd Boehly is going to look at it from a business standpoint. So I agree with Boogeyman. I agree with you 100%. The contract is going to play a factor, but it's all about how we're going to balance this out.
Yeah, but Todd Boehly is not going to change the mentality of the players. Like Rudiger wants something, he was not given that, he's out. It's just for me, footballers or we working in McDonald's or working, there's no difference. You cannot be sitting in the same bench with someone, working at the same restaurant with someone, and knowing that person is making twice your money and be happy. You're not going to just accept it. It just doesn't work.
No,
Let me finish this quick. Ousmane Dembélé is not Erling Haaland. He is a player that we know. We know what he can do in the past, and we're bringing it in. And the prospect is we're trying to rebuild. That's the idea they're trying to sell us. We Chelsea fan. We're rebuilding. Rebuilding means Mount, Grace, Chalobah, Kai, all those players that show something. They were not consistent. We want to tie those players down for long term. So we trust them to become consistent in the future. So next season, if you want those players to trust our project, don't bring anybody in with 250 pound a week, 250,000 a week salary, and then those player amount is looking in 1 year. I have to be negotiating my contract. If you put anything in front of me that is less than 250, I'm not going to sign it. That's the way it is. Todd Boehly just bought the club. You can sit down and say Mount has the Chelsea DNA, it's part of Cuban and all those crap. No, the team has changed now. Roman is not the owner anymore. Those kids leave something that will always be in their mind. This is a business. If I don't get what I want, I'm out. Abraham is out. He's going to play for England. So that's the way it's going to go. For me, to build, don't bring. If you bring Moussa Dembélé in, he has to accept that our wage structure has changed. It has to be 120, 150 something. And when you renew Mount, the Mount has to go exactly at the same level as Moussa Dembélé. Okay, at least being on the top wages. That's the only way to rebuild.
Okay, but Boogeyman, one you can't. You're going to be asking players to take a wage cut to come to the club if that's the case. Because a lot of these good players, top players, they're not reducing their wage. Nobody moves to make less money. Everybody moves to either double their money,
Lukaku
or triple their money. Yeah, they're not moving to take a wage cut. Yeah, that's what I was saying. One, also you have to look at players who are towards the end of their career. That's when they're like, oh, like this is their final contract. They're strictly about the money. It's not a football decision at that point. It's strictly what's the best contract I can get that secures me, for the rest of my life.
Is there anybody in the squad right now who is thinking, oh, I should be earning as much as Lukaku? Because look how poor Lukaku has been this season. Is there anyone in the squad saying that? I don't think so.
But they may be players saying he doesn't deserve it and resent the fact that
he's in it. Rudiger didn't sign. You think
Rudiger didn't want 300k a week. He didn't want what Lukaku was getting.
Let me tell you, someone said to us, all the Gentry, they used to earn 120. All the defender, we used to have certain structure. The money that was offered to Rudiger this season that he refused was still within that structure, was still within that top defender wage salary in EPL. He said no, because he see how much energy he put on this field, and looking at Lukaku making 3 or 4 times his salary. What do you think? He's not going to take it.
No, but before Lukaku came,
the negotiations were before Lukaku. But that's exactly what's happening.
The negotiations were before Lukaku was signed. So that's not even... The negotiations with Rudiger's contract was before Lukaku signed.
Yeah, but Rudiger said they didn't offer. They started and then it went quiet. They offered.
And it went quiet. Yeah.
Listen, it may very well be, but like I said, Rudiger is at a very different stage in his career to Mason Mount and Reece James. He's cashing out. This is his last contract. After this, he's not getting anything else. So obviously, you're gonna roll the dice, especially when there's a market for you. I promise you, nobody's coming to pay Mason Mount 200k a week. As much as we rate him and love him or whatever, yeah, he's not getting more than that elsewhere for me personally. One, and to get him out of Chelsea, you'd have to pay a massive transfer fee anyway.
Who's that?
Based on Mason Mount, based on our valuation.
You only have 1 year left. He just has
that's fine. No, that's fine. But I don't see him wanting to go personally. If that was the case, we could all go and take Liverpool's players. Yeah, we could all go to Liverpool's players. We could all go to Liverpool's team and say, "Oh, we're offering you 300k. Leave. Let's go." Salah, here's 300k. Let's go. Mane, here's 300k. Let's go. Van Dijk, here's 400k. Let's go. It doesn't work like that. Some of these players, and especially the guys who've grown up here and come through the system or whatever. A lot of them, if they feel a certain respect and love from the club, they're not trying to leave. They're not. A lot of the youngsters, we've almost have to push them out and say, listen, we don't value you. You need to go. We'll sell you, and then we can make us money. There's nobody that has left us.
You have the
in recent history.
This is not like I just don't. Something I don't understand when you make that logic.
Yeah.
They belong to Chelsea or whatever, or Cobham, or they were, they belong to Chelsea. They grew up in Cobham. They come out of that house. What's happening to this house? Roman is gone. All the stuff are being changing. Things are being changing around them. Do you think that sense of belonging is still in them? No. Everybody knows this is a business. You have to think. Okay, my kid is crying. I need to bounce quick, man.
Yeah, no problem. I was just trying to explain to Boogie that in terms of the Dembélé thing, obviously he's coming in free, so obviously he's going to ask for the highest wage possible. It's not a normal situation of a player resigning for you or anything. And the thing about him is that what his negotiation ploy is that once you sign me to this contract, then I'm now an asset to you. You can sell me for 30, 40 million. So even this 300k that you're spending on me, you can probably make it back in a couple of years if I'm a success and you want to sell me. So I become an asset. That's why you ask for the wages. Like the free contract thing is different. He's run players.
I agree.
Yeah, players like that in that situation is very different. Now, if Reece and Mason come to the last 6 months of their contract, then yes, I'll be breaking it just like everybody else. Like, what's going on here? Especially Reece, because he's the one that sort of. I'm not worried about Mason. I think Mason sees himself as Lampard and Terry part two. Yeah, that's how he sees himself. He sees his legacy.
In
He views
yeah,
himself.
that's look. There's in regards to Mason Mount. Mason Mount is a good player. He's a very very good player. Is he a Lampard? Is he a player that has the potential to be of that caliber? Potentially. Is he there yet? No. However, in respect to Reece James, is Reece James one of the best right backs on the planet? Yes. Is he one of the best right backs, one of the best versatile players in the Premier League? Yes. Reece James is there. Reece James is that player. So I would find it hard for Chelsea to replace Reece James. I don't think Chelsea will struggle to replace Mason Mount. With all due respect, and like I said, I love Mason Mount, and I want to see him at Chelsea. I want to see him retire at Chelsea. I think he will have a very good legacy, potentially, the next captain.
Perfect example of the problem.
But he is a player that Chelsea would not have a problem finding a replacement for. While Reece James, I think, he's one of those rare commodities because of what he's able to do as a right back, as a right wing back, as a centre back, as a DM. And we've seen him play all those positions. Reece James is a player that I'd be very worried about should his contract get start to diminish, and there's a lot of clubs that will offer him a packet to take him. While as Mason Mount, he'll get offers, but Reece James, he'll be chased by Real Madrid, he'll be chased by Paris Saint-Germain, by Barcelona, by Bayern Munich, by all the big teams. They'll be chasing Reece James, and why wouldn't they be? Look, I want to conclude, but before I conclude, I want to get your expectations for this transfer window, and I'm going to start with Eric Blue. I'll start with Eric Blue, go to Podfather, and then we'll finish with Boogeyman. Hopefully, he's back by then. I wanna know your expectations for what is going to happen in this transfer window. Not what you want to see happen, but what you think is going to happen. And before I get into that, people in the chat, we are going to have a weekly transfer news show hosted by me, and it's going to include Andreas Kosnord, the Norwegian sports reporter. He's going to be with us every Friday night. First show will be on the 10th of June. So we're going to have a very intensive programming on the Blue Lounge during the transfer window. And we're also going to have a debate show every Sunday night where we're going to be addressing all the latest transfer rumors and transfer stories during this transfer window, alongside other programming that we're going to have on the Blue Lounge. So make sure you're locked, you're subscribed to the Blue Lounge, and turn that bell notification button on to make sure you get that content. There's going to be a lot of good content coming your way on the Blue Lounge. Eric Blue, what are your expectations for this transfer window?
That's a big question. I expect some signings. I expect people to be moved on finally. We already know who is going. Well, most of them. I expect us to sort out the defense. I think I'm very concerned about. Concerned is not the right word. I am more focused on us improving. Well, not improving, but making up for the losses that we have in those positions. We've lost a lot of players. We might lose Aspi as well, even though his contract got extended. So we need a new club captain if we lose Aspi. We need two more. I think we need at least two more defenders. I would say we need 3 defenders. And if one of them is going to be a 20-year-old starting week in, week out, I mean, Liverpool was mentioned.
Eric, is this what you're expecting to see Chelsea do, or is this what you want to see Chelsea do? Because I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to
Okay.
see.
Okay.
I know. What we want to see happen, but keeping in mind the £200 million budget, keeping in mind the areas where we're lacking in regards to players coming, players going. I'll give you an example. Do you expect Chelsea to sign 2 wing backs or one?
One. I think we'll sign a left wing back. I think we will sign a defensive midfielder, someone who can play in a single pivot, and I think we will sign 2 attackers. I think we'll sign 2 attacking players as well.
Who do you think is leaving?
Sorry, I had to respond to someone. Yeah, so I think Werner is leaving. I think Werner will go. That's for the attackers. Ziyech, I don't want Ziyech to go, but he may go as well. Cho needs to go out on loan. I think he needs to go out on loan. I don't know if he will. I think Tuchel keeping him was just a waste of time. Like, it didn't work out. That was the bad decision to keep Callum. So I think Werner will go. I think Ziyech will go. Those are the obvious ones. Pulisic isn't going anywhere. And then for the midfield, one of Kante and Jorginho will leave. And in defense, we already know who's leaving. I think Malang Sarr will also leave. I think he should get sold. We don't need to waste time loaning him out again. So just sell him, get cash in, and we need to get some defenders in. I think we'll get 2 defenders. We already know Koundé is coming. I think we'll get one more and one midfielder for that defense, the defensive midfielder, and then we'll get 2 attackers. Hopefully, Sterling is one of them. I think Dembélé will be the other one.
I would love that. I would love Sterling. I would love Sterling. Yeah. If we get Sterling and Dembélé, we're gonna have some pace up front, some serious pace, and pace with a bit of finishing as well. They're both are better finishers than what we currently have in our attack. All right, I'll leave Boogeyman to the end. Let's go to Podfather. Podfather, what are you expecting to see happen in this window?
Yes, so far from all the reports, it seems defense and midfield seem the priority. So just based on the information coming out of the club, I would expect incomings in those positions. We don't really have a choice. We have to bring certain players in. Koundé seems like it's pretty much a done deal, which is good. I think that signing was almost going to go under the radar because we were expecting it last season. So it now it just feels like, oh, we were supposed to sign him and now he's signed. So the excitement won't be the same, but it should be. We should be happy because he's a very good defender. I think I don't think Thomas Tuchel is a stupid man, and I think he would have seen a lot of the issues and problems that we face this season. And I think balance and adaptability was a very serious issue for us last year. Whether it's having a strong DM where we can actually play, that allows us our midfield to play in a different way, where you can play with a single pivot, or just be more aggressive, than we were, because physicality can play a big role, especially in the Premiership. That you can literally bully your way to the points in certain games, but we don't really do that anymore. It's more about controlled possession and stuff like that. Where I think we need to retain some of that aggression and physicality. So I think he will be looking to address that. Up front, it's a World Cup year, so a lot of these players want to be playing regularly and get into the national teams. So Ziyech, he's retired from international teams, so I don't think that's much of a focus for him. So I actually think the desire to leave and will be more from Werner and Pulisic. Pulisic is more of a marketing tool, for the Americans. So I expect them to try and keep him. I expect Werner to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cho is sold. People saying Cho go on loan. I wouldn't be surprised if he's sold as well. And even though it's 200 million kitty, but I also heard that that's before player sales. So based on the money we're actually able to create, it could actually be more than 200 million to 250,
Potentially,
260. So that's quite interesting, and that would actually, I would be happy to see the budget increased. It looks like Alonso will go. So that's another position that we have to think about. Kepa, does he want to get into the Spain team? He might go. So there's so many unanswered questions at this point in time. But I do expect the club. What I think the club will do is at least 5 to 6 signings coming in, which is a lot, So at any given time, because usually you sign 6 players, 3 hit the ground running and 3, slow, and then hopefully the next season they pick up. But yeah, so I expect 6 players. I expect an addition in every part of the team: defense, midfield, and attack. I expect the least amount of acquisitions to be done in attack, but the most to be done in the defense. In terms of midfield, obviously Conor Gallagher is coming back, so that's already one new addition there. Broham, will probably be an addition to the forward line. I think Jorginho will leave, because if we're talking about financial decisions and how the club has a structure, they're not going to let these 2 guys go into their last year of their contract, and they're not going to re-sign two 30-year-olds to long-term contracts. So one of them will go, I think, and I think that will probably be Jorginho, in my opinion. So yeah.
All right, sweet. Boogeyman, last to go. I'm getting an echo. I'm not sure where it's coming from. Boogeyman, your expectations for this window? Who's coming? Who's going? How do you see this window panning out?
I'll probably surprise all of you. I'm not really expecting us to do any big signing. Of course, Kunde deal seemed to already be done since last season, or the contacts were there. So I think Kunde will come in. But other than Kunde, for me, the priority is to actually believe in the project of rebuilding. And rebuilding for me is about tidying those players, those talented youngsters we have, for 5, 6 years contract and renew them as early as possible. This season, we should renew them. When we know that those players are renewed, now we can start bringing players with high wages or this thing in it. So then they don't have a reason, because Lukaku is going to be let go or sold or whatever it is. Werner has to go. I mean, for people that have to leave, yeah, Lukaku, Werner, Shaw has to go. I think Aspi is about time he has to go. I think Kepa is only because of his wages. For sure. That's why he has to go. So those are people have to go. They have to go. But when it comes to who's coming, for me, we're rebuilding. Rebuilding meaning we have to make sure the assets we have to tie them down properly with no complication. And until those objectives are reached, I don't want us to bring any player that will cost us more than 250 a week. Because for me, bringing those players in is only going to create problem. If Marina is still managing this club, we're going to end up losing Mount, Reese, Kai, and all those young talent that we have. And I don't want to see that happen. So for me, those 200 million pound, sign the Kunde deal because it's already done. Make sure whatever wages we give in Kunde is not crazy amount that will create a disparity between our new, when we decide to renew the Chris James and stuff. They won't create any problem. And then that's how we go of moving forward. And at that time, we give enough time to our scout to find the proper players that Tuchel need. Even if for any reason we bring a defender in, like the Koulibaly, no, not the Koulibaly, but that young defender from Liverpool that was bought from Germany. The one that plays
Konate.
Champions League. What his name again?
Konate.
Konate. He's 35 million. Even if we make a mistake bringing players like that in the next few years, we're not going to regret it because they only cost 30 something million pounds. And they will be on 110,000 a week. So it doesn't hurt anybody. But right in this market, jumping and trying to bring start in, trying to bring big names in like Dembélé or Neymar is only going to be detrimental to the fact that we're trying to build. So for me, this window we should take it slow. Kunde come in because we create a problem selling letting Rudiger go. Yeah, Kunde come in, but the main objective should be to put the mount, the race, all the youngsters we have that we know are part of our future. We need to tie them for on 5 years or 6 year contract. That's it for me.
All right, fantastic. I'm getting Neymar in the chat. Does anybody want to address the Neymar story?
Listen, I think Neymar. I just don't think we are in a financial position to go get Neymar from Paris. Of course, people link Neymar with Chuko because Chuko was a PSG coach. I don't think we are, and I would love for a statement for Neymar to come in Chelsea because he has that quality. And if for any reason Tuchel managed to get Neymar to believe in his project, I think we will have a hell of a player in that kid because he is that good with the ball. He is something.
Boogie, I'm gonna say this. You always talk about the contracts. What we paying Neymar? What we paying him?
Yeah,
450.
ma'am, I'm not sure, man. So I'm not sure, but for me, the priority is still building. And I don't think we should be looking to bring any crazy player for the big wages because it's just not gonna work for our project to build. Because if for any reason you bring Dembele, you spend those money, Tuchel is not gonna be coach not this season, but the season after next, he's going to be fired because we want to win all the time. We need to know exactly what are the objectives is, and we need to see it. We need to live it. We need to go say, okay, this is our kid, this is our Coben boy, this is our academy. We need to give them 1 full years or 1 full season to go in and see how they progress, and now start bringing stars in it. Not just start bringing stars in it and asking them to take low salary. They've been proven for 2 seasons now that they are top quality, and we need to respect them. The same way Rudiger was let go because he's way too respectful for this board. I think that's the same thing going to happen to Mount and Reese, and they're going to be quiet, 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 not making any noise. And last minute, they'd be like, "Yo, listen, I've been waiting for Chelsea to renew. They don't want to meet my condition or my request. So now I have to go. That's the way it is, and it's simple. It will happen."
All right. All right. Let me bring in Podfather or Eric. Does any of you two want to talk about Neymar? Or shall we just give it a pass?
All I'll say is watch this space. Yeah, think the funny things have a way of happening in football.
Interesting.
But I think the Neymar thing is more dependent on what PSG decided than what we decide to do. Yeah, if they decide to force him out, then there's a possibility. Up until then, I don't think it's worth.
You said watch the space. I'm gonna say this. Tuchel, if he has Todd Boehly's ear, and he wants to bring in Dembele and Neymar, worse things have happened to Chelsea in the past. You get me? So Dembele and Neymar coming in could happen. Eric,
no, it's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna quickly say if Dembele comes to Chelsea, if Neymar comes to Chelsea, that would be a huge. I mean, okay, he's not
talk
what
about
he used to be.
signing, right?
That would be very amusing just to see how people react. If nothing else, just to see how people react to the signing. That would be fun to watch, honestly. And we know how talented Neymar is. Neymar is he's a very special talent, but we know that things have held him back, including injuries and But yeah, I think just for the fun of it, why not? Why not just test it for like a season and a half? That would be fun.
That would be fun. That
Yo,
would be
big
fun.
up to Julius. Is he coming on or he's not?
Nah, if he comes, I won't let him on. We're about to conclude. We're about to conclude. Julius, big up to you and good to see you in the chat.
Oh, okay. Was he
All right,
asking about Neymar? You're good.
guys, look. This is the pilot. This is the pilot show. Every Sunday from now on at around 8 to 9 p.m. UK time. It might be 8, it might be 9 p.m. depending on scheduling. You're going to get a debate discussion show like this format, discussing all the latest Chelsea news of that week. All right, so moving forwards, every Sunday you're going to get this show either 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. UK time. We will settle on a time in due course. So if you enjoyed this show and you're not a subscriber to the Blue Lounge, this is your opportunity to subscribe because you will get this every Sunday night. Make sure you subscribe and turn that bell notification button on. Friday night, you're going to get a transfer news video coming to you with me, Julius, and Andreas every Friday night. Every Friday night around 9 p.m. UK time. And you're going to get content throughout the week. It's going to be a different style of content, but you will get content throughout the week. I want to thank everybody in the chat. The Newcastle fan, the Liverpool fan, the Chelsea fans. Thank you all for being here. Much appreciated. Good stream tonight. Good discussion tonight. And again, I apologize for being away for so long, but like I said, I had to take care of a few things. I needed some time away from YouTube, and it's been great. Yeah. You know I was talking about you, don't you, Pete? Big up to you, Pete. Big up to you. So we will be back again next Sunday. There might be streams during the week, but like I said, it's going to be erratic up until the 10th of June, where things will start to fall in place properly. Thank you all for being here. Limitless, good to see you, mate. Good to see you in the chat. I didn't see you earlier on. So big up to everyone. Thank you all for being here. The outro is going to be a little bit different, but the music is still the same. So have a good night, people, and I'll see you all next week. Boogie, Eric, and Pod, take care, lads. I'll see you all next week. Let me find the outro. Good night.
Take care, man.
Good night, boys.